Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Jonathan back. I know it's been a while since I've done any NASCAR stuff, but kind of want to talk about this NASCAR news. It just kind of dropped on the NASCAR's podcast that they have, and it was announced that from probes that they're going to change the stage lengths at Talladega, and also from Bob Pockers here at Talladega's first stage will be longer than the final two stages to mitigate the fuel mileage uh, stuff that goes on at super speedways. Now, let's be very clear: is this going to change much? I really doubt it. And the reason why I say that is because it doesn't really matter if the last two. So here's the thing: the first stage will do the same. They're going to save fuel because they want to have track position before the end of the race. All right. So you're going to still even see that, all right, for stage number two. All right. Even though you're not going to have to pit, they're still going to see that for stage two because what they want to do is have a quicker pit stop for the final stop. Now, they're not going to have to stop for the last stage. It says here the final two stages won't require any fuel stops. Okay. So stage three will probably appear, just go for it, hammer down because you don't have to worry about fuel. As long as they calculate right and they don't have to save fuel because they screwed up. But if they do it right, then they don't have to. Okay, so stage three, which if you are a NASCAR fan, kind of when it comes to a super speedway race, is kind of the more important stage out of all of them. But the first two stages won't really look any different. They really won't, because they're going to want to be out first on pit road. Right? You want to make it as short as possible for track position. Why? Because once you get to that stage three, you are going to be wide open 100%. I can guarantee you, or pretty damn close guarantee you, that it won't be a third lane. And it's just going to be bumper to bumper, just more or less bumper cars, right? For the first two rows. For whatever reason, this car has so much drag and it just doesn't allow a third lane to easily go out and form. All right. I know if you're a casual fan, you're going, I've seen this. They're four wide. Right. Because they're half throttle. Because they're half throttle, they can't. What they do is the first two lanes will get up to speed. They'll drop to 50%. The front row drop to 50% on throttle. Then the guys in the back, they don't want to sit back there. So what they'll do is they'll go 100%, get up there quickly. As soon as they get about roughly close to the leader, they'll drop back to 50%. And if they really want to, they'll make a fourth lane and then draw back to 50% on throttle. They'll do that. And you could tell that they've done this because lap time at Talladega should average, I think, around 48 seconds, I believe, maybe 49. And they're going sometimes 52, 53, 54 seconds. They're approaching almost a minute, and they're in a huge pack. That's just not acceptable. I think at Daytona, they were averaging almost 50 seconds a lap, and they shouldn't be doing that at Daytona. So, will the speeds be up? Yes. But will this provide better racing? Absolutely not, because the cars can't provide that. Now, I'm hoping that I am wrong, but I hope something has changed enough to where these cars can make a third lane, be able to pass, but I doubt it. Now, here comes the kicker, though. Also in that podcast, Probst also said that in January they're going to bring back preseason Thunder to help potentially have technical changes, horsepower, speeds, change horsepower, aerodynamics, things on super speedways. So this is a good sign that they're not just letting go of this and saying, "Hey, we did something Now deal with it. No, they're going to go further in this. Now, what is the best thing they can do? Well, the one thing I feel like they need to do first, okay, is to get the drag off their car. First, get a lot of drag off. If you get the drag off in the car, then we can work on horsepower stuff. All right, now I know the first thing you worry about is when if you take drag off, then the speeds go up, then they're gonna choke the engines down more. Yep, that's the consequence of having cars that don't want the cars to drive so well. And in super speed racing, especially with these cars, you don't want the cars to drive or handle well. You still want them to handle decently because you want them to push and shove and be able to do it that way. But you've seen Atlanta Moore Speedway now or Echo Park now, and how amazing that racing is. Now, yes, it has this package on it, but because of the fact the car has so much drag on it, and you have to lift because there's not enough grip in the turns, and of course, even the dirty air still. You have to lift. You get these slingshot moments. Now, I'm not saying we're going to see that at Daytona and Talladega, but if you can create a gap in between these cars and get enough momentum to be able to get runs on someone, then you wouldn't have to see these guys trying to save field. Because the problem is, if the car's going so fast, you're naturally going to be off the throttle anyways. Now, yes, if you're the front 2-3 guys, you're not going. They're going to be wide open. But that inertia behind you, I know. I could tell you one thing about a driver: when they want to try to have fun or race, they're going to race, and they're not going to tell a crew chief's going to say, "Okay, well, I need you to sit there for 30 laps and say, Phil." After a while, drivers are going to say, "I gotta try my car. I gotta see what my car's doing," and then they're going to go out and try to pass. And so I feel like that if they do try to change something, they have to figure out a way to get these cars to be able to create enough of a gap in which they then get momentum and runs and start passing again. I hope that they can get that done. I don't know if it's feasible with this car. I'm no engineer in the sense what body or what part of the car to take off, slap on, change, whatever. Generally, I've been saying this for a while now. They need to take that diffuser off because that's where you create most of the drag now. I feel like it needs to come off just for a safety purpose. But again, I don't know if they're gonna allow it to happen. So I don't know which way they're gonna lean to. I can tell you right now, jacking more spoiler on it and slowing these cars down anymore ain't gonna solve a damn thing. You do need more speed in some cases, but if you don't want to reduce or open up the taper spacer, then you gotta reduce drag. You gotta do something to get these speeds levels to come up. Even when they're wide open, they're still only pushing 100 and maybe 190, like nose to tail without pushing. Once they push and they're actually pushing one another, they can generate up to 200 miles per hour. But that's nose to tail in like tandem drafting. By themselves, they're or even generally just by themselves, they're doing 170 or something, maybe close to 180. So yeah, the speed's got to definitely come up. Either that's with just adding horsepower to the engine or reducing the drag. And then my best bet is, in my personal opinion, I would feel like the best way of going is to take downforce off. Yes, you're going to have to choke the engine down because then they're going to carry too much speed. But in that way, that will generate some gap in between. Handling, especially at least at Daytona, will come into a factor a little bit. You get these gaps, you get runs, and hopefully that creates passing. So we'll see on what they want to do. But at least it's cool to see at least preseason Thunder back for at least 1 year. This is not something I have a feeling is not going to stay around. This is just to fix this part. Um, I don't see it staying for any future seasons or years. So, but cool to see that back, and we'll see what happens at Talladega with the stage lengths getting changed. I don't see too much changing. Maybe besides stage 3 when they can just go wide open from there, and you'll just see double road, racing. You're not going to see 3 wide. As far again, I'm hoping I'm wrong. Hope something does change. Even with that, I don't see that happening. Now Daytona, that could be different if they decide to change stage lengths for Daytona. Which I'm assuming if you're doing it for Talladega, you're gonna do it for Daytona. Um, but we'll see. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you think about this. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you for more sometime down the road, more NASCAR content.